Hi, you guys. We're back this week with a guest that was actually on this previous semester. Well, not previous, this semester. What was that, a few months ago? It feels like it's been a year.
Isn't that true?
Yeah.
Isn't that true, Ellie? I mean, a few months ago, it's been one. Interesting year, hasn't it? I mean.
Yeah.
So go ahead and introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, and what do you do here at DSU?
Sure. My name is Steve Easton. I am from Dickinson, North Dakota, having recently moved here. And I serve as the president of Dickinson State, and I'm also an alum of Dickinson State.
Well, on that note, congratulations. I think that, you becoming president officially has been kind of overlooked. And I know you're not someone that's sit here to talk about it, but congratulations. I know that as a student, I am so excited to have you as our new president. What about you, Coulter?
I'm super excited. I know that you are stretched a million ways right now. You are the president. You are also the advisor of Student Senate. I mean, how do you find time to do that right now?
Well, I don't always find time to be advised. Last night's meeting, I had another meeting at 4:00, and then I didn't quite get to the Student Senate meeting while it was still going on. I would not deny being busy. I'm certainly not the only one. And I work with everyone on campus, but I work with the vice presidents, the provost. I work with Coach Stanton as the athletic director and Ty Orton as the head of the Heritage Foundation, and then the presidents of the Faculty Senate and the Student Senate. And that group is the cabinet. We've been meeting about twice a week with that group. We have a lot of other groups meeting. We have an emergency management team that meets once a week or sometimes twice a week. We just started up a teaching planning committee. They'll be meeting over the summer to work on, as more information comes out over the summer about what the fall is going to look like. We don't have a lot of answers to exactly what the fall will look like, but we have a lot of people working on it. And So you're right, Coulter, I'm very busy, but I'm not the only one. A lot of people working hard at Dickinson State.
Absolutely.
We talked about it a little bit. I know you were saying you watched last week's, but you guys just came out that the fall we will be opening up to classes face-to-face. Gosh, I couldn't get that out. Face-to-face classes this fall. What kind of led up to making that decision?
A whole bunch of things, but I kind of pushed the cabinet to make that decision. I was the one that suggested that they make that. There was absolutely no resistance. It was a unanimous vote of the cabinet. I thought it was important to send our students the message that we're going to be here in the fall. Now, of course, I have to say everything we say these days has an asterisk by it,
right.
Parentheses, unless somebody tells us we can't be here. So, there's always that possibility. But we have found out, not that we didn't know it before, that close contact that we have at Dickinson State between students, faculty, students and each other students and faculty, students and staff, that is such a huge part of Dickinson State. I watch a lot of Hawk Talk, and I love your question, what does DSU mean to you? I think on the last one, Ellie, you pointed out that the far and away the most common answer to that question is family. People use that word family in talking about Dickinson State. And now, I don't mean any disrespect. Our faculty have done a great job in these last 8 weeks. Yeah. They've worked really hard. The students are hanging in there and doing a good job. It's not bad, but it's not the same. And it's not our Dickinson State. And so we're very committed to getting back to that experience. And we just basically decided, let's put it out there. Let's let everybody know that we are very committed to this. Right. And unless somebody tells us you absolutely can't, we're going to be on campus. I was very proud of the fact that of North Dakota, the North Dakota University System's 11 institutions, the very first one to say we're going to be back in fall was Dickinson State University.
Put that on the record.
We actually generated a little publicity. We were in the Washington Times, the San Francisco Chronicle. I was kind of surprised at that.
Wow.
We got a little bit of sprinkling of news, and that's always a good thing. People hear about Dickinson State. around the
Not all
country.
bad, or not all bad press. No, not all press is bad press.
Yeah.
Wait, is that right?
No, that's not the right saying.
It's something like that, I think.
Well, it's sort of the opposite. People say, I don't care what you say about me, just spell our name right, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, there we go. Something like that. That's what I was trying to go for. You got me.
I can tell you, Hickok always gets spelled wrong, so I know exactly what you're talking about there. So
I have that problem with my first name. There's now a very famous basketball player. It's not so, who is Stefan, and my first name is Stephen with a PH, and so nobody pronounces my first name right.
Oh.
But so Coulter, you and I, we struggle through life. We do our best with these handicaps.
Oh, I am on the struggle bus constantly. So you had talked about how your cabinet is going to do these summer classes. Have you seen a lot of involvement or student enrollment in these summer classes so far, as enrollment was the beginning of April?
Oh boy, it's an interesting question. I mean, we're really talking about the cabinet meeting over the course of the summer.
Yes.
Our enrollment in classes for the fall among our current students is actually down a little bit from where it has been in past years. That's understandable for a fair number of reasons. You know, first of all, we're aware of the fact that students are under some, like others, but certainly students are under some pretty substantial financial stress in a lot of circumstances. They don't know if they can commit to coming back in the fall. By the way, parentheses, since some students watch Hawk Talk, I want to make everyone aware that there is an opportunity for a grant from the CARES Act money that was provided to Dickinson State. Anyone who is a full-time student this semester and is not full-time online. So it's fine if you have 1 or 2 courses online, but as long as you have some face-to-face courses until it all went online, you're eligible to apply. You go to Blackboard and you want to get that application in so that you're eligible for consideration for one of our grants, which we expect to be in the neighborhood of $300. And so really little public service announcement for students.
Yeah.
Make sure that there is a hard deadline for that, which is May 15th. That is the hard deadline on those applications, because we don't want that money to sit in our account. We want to get it out to students. And
Absolutely.
So therefore we need to know how many applications we have. Encourage other students to get their applications in. There does have to be some financial stress as a result of COVID, but we think that to some extent, almost all students probably have had. I mean, there are some questions about indications of financial stress, but so that's one factor. Another factor is we're not in the same town, in the same building, where a faculty member can say to a student, I see that you aren't registered. Come into my office and let's talk. Let's talk about it. We did have a week last week where we tried to make contact with our unregistered students, those who are not set to graduate but haven't yet registered for the fall. I had about 14 that were on my contact list and was able to contact a few of them. So that number went down significantly. So we're tracking a little closer, but we're still a little bit behind. Almost everybody is nationwide, but you know, Blue Hawks aren't going to be where everybody else is. We're going to be ahead of everybody else. So we need to keep working on that. So encourage people to apply or to register for next fall. The new student numbers, you never know. Our applications and our accepted applications are both up over what they were last year. Our housing deposits are up a little bit over where they were last year. You never know. Until about the 15th of September, we don't really know what our numbers are. And so I don't want to get ahead of I don't want to get, as they say, out over our skis here, but we'll see. Like, you know, we've got good returning numbers. We need to get those numbers up. They're not as good as we'd like them to be, and we feel pretty good about the entering class, but we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, really quick, like as a student, it is so amazing to see a president caring this much about getting the numbers back. I mean, like this is, I don't know, it's really, really cool to see and be able to talk to you about, what you're seeing and all the stuff that you're doing because we all know how much work you've put in and like your very, very short time here. And so I just from me personally, I am so happy to have you as our president. You're gonna be
I,
doing great
I really
things.
appreciate you saying that, Ellie. It's a really easy thing for me to do. I really believe in Dickinson State University. It was just a really crucial time in my life when I was fortunate enough to be a student at Dickinson State. It made Dickinson State is a place where people blossom, and I know that. I know that can sound trite, but I really believe that. I've seen it happen. My son was a student here, and it was a really crucial time in his life. This is a place that gives people confidence. So it's easy for me to sell Dickinson State because I really truly believe that a decision to come to Dickinson State is a great decision for people. So I love to go out there and sell it. I'll be happy when we can actually go out there and meet people again.
Yes. We can be celebrating at tailgates.
Yes.
Fingers crossed. Come
so,
on.
I mean, Mr. Easton, we're going to have to get you on for Blue Hawk Game Day as well.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking a little bit about tailgates next year. We don't know for sure what the future holds, but we were talking before we started this interview.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in contact a little bit with NAIA. Can you tell us a little bit about what you know regarding next fall?
Yeah, so here's and of course this could be the first in a series of we just don't know yet. A major question is will we be allowed to have gatherings of more than 10 people, more than 50 people? And so that puts sports on the line, that puts theater on the line, that puts concerts on the line, that puts campus events, like movie nights and things like that. On the NAIA front, I sent Jim Carr, who is the president of the NAIA, his office is in Kansas City. I sent him an email a couple of weeks ago and said, I'm sure you get these emails from everybody, but if you could make half an hour for me and we could have a quick Zoom meeting, and he was very kind and did find a half an hour on the schedule, and I used that time to just communicate with him that it's a really important thing for us to have sports, and I told Mr. Carr, I know you're going to be under a lot of pressure, and obviously we don't want you to do things that are very dangerous to large numbers of people, but I want you to know it's a big part of our community at Dickinson State, and I think other NAIA schools also. So I just kind of wanted to put my word in there that we really hope we can do athletics. He of course wasn't in any position to tell me what the decisions were. I think there are all kinds of possibilities. I think one possibility is that we have a season that looks fairly similar to most seasons. I think another possibility is that the NAIA leaves it up to individual conferences, and some conferences can play games and some can't. I think that's one of the things they're considering. I think that wouldn't be a terrible thing for us because we live in a conference where we sort of social distance is part of our, we're in the Dakotas, Iowa, our conference is in places where we're far apart from each other. I think delayed seasons are a possibility. There's all kinds of things on the table. I don't think it's impossible that we might be playing, and I'm not talking about anything that Mr. Carr said, but just in general, we might be playing football and volleyball in the spring, and running track and and playing softball in the fall. I think there's all kinds of possibilities. I think it's the state of Iowa that their high school activities have flipped the spring and fall seasons. Don't quote me on that because I could be wrong. So I think there's all kinds of possibilities. You mentioned tailgating, and I really hope we can do that. It's an important part of the Dickinson State community, and those volleyball. If we just talk about fall sports that have a lot of spectators, volleyball and football, it's a way for our alums and our community supporters to reconnect to Dickinson State. It's a way for students to support fellow students that are engaged in those activities. I really hope we have sports. All I can say is we put our word in. The other thing I was going to say is we did get an email, I think it was earlier this week, the presidents and the athletic directors at the NAIA schools got an email saying that a decision, that the NAIA was setting a preliminary deadline of July 1st for a decision. That could get moved back. And of course, we also have the rodeo end, on the sports end. Now the good news is esports have been continuing on, and in fact our esports teams, I think, had their last competitive match was about 10 days ago. So and we're kind of a leader in the state on esports. We're ahead of most of the other schools in the state on esports. But I'm very hopeful, but I don't have any information. I just other than to say, again, people are working on it.
And that's what we were kind of guessing too, but we thought, I mean, you're the president now, you can pull some strings. I mean, get a director of NAIA just like casually, you know.
We'll find out.
Cool.
I got to share a little fact on fall sports that our son Nate pointed out. You know, he's a Blue Hawk super fan. You know, he's now about 4 years and a alum, 3.5, 4 years and alum. He pointed out something that was interesting. He said, you know, when I talked to him a couple weeks ago, he said, you know, Dad, we could actually have one of the first college football games of the year. You know, we've got that Thursday game in what the NCAA calls week 0. We got the Thursday game at Hastings. We could be one of the games that sort of reopens college sports in America, which is kind of a fun thought.
Hastings better be ready.
Not only,
and we assume, culture, that we're going to go down to Hastings and take those.
Not only one Thursday game, we're having 2 Thursday games this year.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So, President Easton, I know you brought up this question. We're kind of script on it a little bit. What does being the president of DSU mean to you?
It's really a tremendous honor. It's also a little scary because I want to make sure that we do everything we can during my time here to keep building on the great things that other people have done before I came back in this capacity. So mostly it's an honor. It's also a little scary because it's a big responsibility. It's a school that means a lot to a lot of people. It means a lot to our region. It's such a special place. And you know, one thing that's good about periods like the last 8 weeks that we've been through where we're not together on campus is it does remind you how special it is. When we get back to it next fall, it'll be even more special because of this interesting spring that we've had.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that gave me the goozies. Come on now. We just wanted to thank you so much for taking time out of your extremely busy schedule to come on Hawk Talk for the second time this semester, but we felt like we had to have you on to hear about, you know, your side of things and the tons of stuff that you've been up to since COVID has hit. But yeah.
So thank you very much, President Easton.
Really happy to do it. And I also, since this is toward the end of your Hawk Talk year, Ellie and Coulter, thanks so much you've done a great job with Hawk Talk. It's a great little corner of Dickinson State, Hawk Talk, and it's just a really fun way to let people know about how special it is. And I know that the focus is athletics, but I love the way that you always have your guests talk about that question, what does DSU mean to you? And you talk about DSU writ large, in addition to DSU athletics, both of which are very special things. But you've done a great job with Hawk Talk this year. And thanks
Thank you.
Well, honestly, we got to be thanking you because your son, the original founder of Hawk Talk, so we have to thank the Easton family for.
Yeah.
Well, he got it rolling, but it's important to keep it rolling. And
Absolutely.
The two of you have done a great job this year, and I really appreciate it. Thanks on behalf of Dickinson State. And I guess I could speak on behalf of Dickinson State.
Absolutely.
Mr. President over here.
On behalf of Dickinson State, thanks for the great job you've done with Hawk Talk.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Ellie and I will be right back with a recap right after this.
All right. Thanks again for having me.
Hey guys, it's Tyler with Immovable Ministries here, and I am so excited to be able to be the sponsor for this year's Hawk Talk. If you'd like to find out more about Immovable Ministries, you can visit our website at immovableministries.com.
Hi, you guys.
Hello.
We're back. And Coulter's in town again.
Yeah, I'm back in Dickinson. I got back here on Monday, so here I am.
Yeah, here he is. It's kind of crazy.
So we thought that we'd share a little information with you.
Do you want to break it, or do you want me to break it?
I think you should break it.
This is sadly our last Hawk Talk of the year. How crazy. We know. Like, it seriously feels like just like yesterday was our first Hawk Talk together.
It was.
Our first interview.
It felt like yesterday, but we watched it again just recently, and it's bad.
It's bad. So thank you guys, our viewers, for sticking in there with us.
We got there eventually. We're still awkward. That hasn't changed, but Ellie and I've got a little bit better chemistry now.
Yeah.
So we want to kind of give a little recap, not just about the whole sports season, of the entire Hawk Talk season.
Yeah. So we'll actually, I guess we'll kind of start with this semester, or
I think we should start with our very first episode.
Yeah, it was a dark place.
It was.
No, but I mean, we still had some amazing people on. We had Jade Rice and Coach Hartman for the volleyball team.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, at least we had good interviewees that stuck it out with us.
But if you guys ever want to watch it back, just watch the interaction between Ellie and I.
Yeah.
They're bad.
Yeah. Let's see. We keep on moving on. I think this is one of my favorite episodes. It was kind of our goodbye episode with Susanna and Seth, but our welcome episode, and we were all wearing Christmas sweaters. It was adorable. But that one was pretty sweet. We got to hear about what Seth and Susanna were doing with their lives. Susanna just got her dream job that she was literally talking about on our interview, going to Nashville. So
that's crazy.
I know.
I really hope she sees Graceland.
I know. It's gonna be seriously?
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do when you go to Nashville.
What's Graceland?
Elvis's home.
Oh.
That's turned into a museum. That's like the official place if you're an Elvis fan.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I thought that Graceland was like
the promised land, like heaven?
No, I don't know what I thought it was.
All right.
It's awkward.
Next interview that we did.
Anyway, no, but Seth and Susanna taught us everything we knew coming in, and we obviously had them on a few times, Hawk Talk Game Day for Susanna, and then Seth did some interviews too. But from the bottom of our hearts, we would love to thank you guys for, continuing this legacy and picking us to take it over. And, this fall will be our first time alone. So
I know when I got the email saying that you're going to be the next guest or the host of Hawk Talk with Ellie, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. My interview process was very bad, kind of like our very first interview between Ellie and I. But I love every bit of this. I love continuing to do questions with Ellie. You're such a great host, Ellie.
Oh my gosh, you too. So then we kind of moved on after that, into this semester, into the winter and spring sports. And obviously we didn't get all of the spring sports we wanted, but we still got to talk to some amazing people and have some amazing interviews. I think that one of my favorite interviews that I think I will ever do is Zach Dobitz and Sarah Dobitz.
Oh, those were such good interviews.
Yes. And Zach, that shot, like I'm just replaying it in my mind right now because it was awesome.
So maybe Ron, if you're watching this right now, maybe you could play the video again. Like this would be the spot to do it.
We also had Stanton on, Coach Stanton, a few times. Talking about sports, and then of course how he adjusted too. He was our first Zoom call.
He was our very first Zoom call.
Yeah, he was our first Zoom call, so he got through some of those technical difficulties. But he was an awesome interviewee, and we'll have him on obviously next year. We're not done, so let's see. What else do we have on?
Just kind of dancing with you right now.
Oh, how about the wrestling episode? You weren't there.
I wasn't because I was in class.
Yeah.
As everybody should be who's paying to go to school.
Okay, yeah, you're right. But amazing, huh?
I did watch it, and I saw you guys made fun of me for being a nerd and going to school. But you know what? Just take it in stride. Just go to class.
Looking, I think that all those seniors just had such an amazing year, and it was great to see, Gresh's fun side dancing a little bit. I think that was pretty funny. Let's see. We had Easton on. This is Easton's second time on, and I just think he is going to do such amazing things for the school, and he continues to show how much he loves DSU. And his answer this last time about what being the president of DSU means to him, it just shows that he loves what he's doing, and he's looking at the students, trying the best.
Another interviewee. I'm sorry, I couldn't speak there for a second. Another interviewee that we had was Mike Park. What a guy, Mike Park. How I started the interview between Mike Park was we came back from break and I was like, "So, welcome back. How's life?" Ever since then, Ellie's made fun of me for it.
And Mike too. I think Mike actually saw you and said something about it too.
He did. He definitely did.
But it was so cool just seeing someone like Mike that, he spent some time at Dickinson, but for him to come back and just continue to give and give and give to DSU, it just is in all departments too, not just athletics and not just academics, but all throughout. So. And
Mike, if you're watching, we know we haven't got you your shirt yet. We are in the process of doing so.
COVID put a stop on a lot of things.
It definitely did.
I'm trying to think of what else we've done this year.
Well, we had the inaugural year of Blue Hawk Game Day.
Yeah, let's talk about that. That's big time.
That is big time. We've got a whole production team over there.
Yeah, it is crazy.
We've got Ron, we've got Trace. Pretty much it.
That's the production team. But seriously,
those are so much fun.
Yeah, and they put so much work into it. And Seth got it started. So it's going to be interesting to see how we do without Seth because he organized it all. He was, the man behind the scenes too and getting it going. And so obviously grateful again for Seth and everything that he does for us. And his time here in Dickinson is coming to an end. So is Susanna's. And so we know that he's off to do some great things in California, but still hurts the old heart.
So now's the perfect time to thank all of our sponsors. We've got Immovable Ministries. We want to thank Tyler and his crew for all that they've done for us this year. Without them, we couldn't have done it this year. We want to thank the DSU Heritage Foundation. Again, they're the people who are putting this on. They sponsor the shirts along with Immovable Ministries. And now they're going around town, Ty and Seth, just checking in on all the businesses, wanting to thank them for all their support and all of their participation that they do at DSU. Also, we want to thank Consolidated Channel 18 for putting on Hawk Talk on TV. And we want to thank Ron, our producer, and Trace, our cameraman, for all of that they have done and all that they continue to do for us.
And for putting up with us, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ron's always there to mess with us, kind of just keep it light, keep it fun. Ron's always there for us. And Trace is a good dude. So he's watching, Trace, I really hope you're watching. Thank you for all the good jokes that you did throughout the course of Hawk Talk.
Yeah, but we're so excited to be back with you guys again next year. It's gonna be an exciting year.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Be interesting to see, how these fall sports are going to be affected by COVID, and kind of see, the route that we're gonna take as this thing continues on. But I think that in the end of it, Dickinson's community, we're gonna get through it all together, and stay safe, stay healthy, right? But again, thank you guys again for everything.
Thank you to all the guests that we've had on. I know if we didn't get to you, we are so sorry, but thank you for always wanting to be a part of Hawk Talk. I mean, people will see those shirts now that they flew on Hawk Talk, and they're curious about it and ask questions, and people are seeing it on YouTube. So we want to thank all of the guests for being a part of that and being just there for us.
Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, last send off for the year until fall.
Last send off of the year. And I think with that,
Hawks are up. We did it. Let's go.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody that you know how to speak. Bye.